Welcome to Margin Business Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. In today's episode, we have Jelena Nuhanovic. She's the owner of Amazonia PPC, a next level Amazon advertising company. Welcome, Jelena. One more thing, please hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up if you like our content. Thank you and enjoy. Jelena, really happy to have you here today to find out about your professional life from the beginning to now to your success story. So it would be really great if you could tell us something about you, where you're based right now, and then where everything begins.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here today and to share my story, which hopefully will inspire others to start their own entrepreneurship journey if they feel like that's the right path for them. My name is Jelena. I come from Serbia in Southeastern Europe, and I'm the owner of Amazonia PPC, which is a PPC management agency dedicated to providing PPC management services on Amazon as a marketplace. So we're solely focused on Amazon, and there's currently a team of 6 people working on accounts.
Okay, sounds good. So your a little bit about your story. I mean, from the beginning, where did you grow up? Where did you went to school? I mean, what was the early life of Jelena? Just give us a little bit. Is there any where was the entrepreneur? I mean, is your family already? Does your family have some business? Where did you pick this up to be? I mean, I could see in your resume that you are already very. You come from a credit banking background, if I have seen this correctly, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
Obviously for PPC, then that's a pretty strong base. Just tell us a little bit about this, about your early school life, and maybe we find some special entrepreneurs in your family as well.
That's interesting that actually no one in our family was actually an entrepreneur. Both of my parents were just regular, my father's a tax advisor and mom's a nurse. So basically they're just working class kind of people.
Okay.
But I was always like a kid that was super curious about everything and very free-minded and very talented in a way. So when I found some kind of ideas, I would get crazy about them. I didn't know what that was yet, but like for example, if I would like Harry Potter books, I have to know every single detail, whatever happened in each book, and have all the books and collect everything, like go really, really, really deep into that, like go crazy about it. So I didn't know what that kind of obsession was, but I found its successful placement in business where you have to be really, really devoted to something and 100% in it in order for it to actually work. So when it comes to school, I was just a good student, good talented kid. When I was like 14 years old, I was already invited to a regional center for talented kids, which was nearby our town. And there they worked with some selected kids who had some affinities. Like, for example, my affinity was English language, to study it a little bit better than the rest of the kids, and things like these. Like, there was always some kind of promise that I was supposed to do something with my life. I just didn't know what that was just yet. But yeah, pretty quickly I found myself being really successful in business analysis as a general, whether that would be credit analysis, that is something where you estimate businesses, their credit scores and things like these according to their financial statements and according to their previous performance, number of employees, things like these. And later on, I was a specialized reporting BI specialist, basically business intelligence specialist at a corporation, which is an NCR corporation, American corporation. And that corporate job just didn't do it for me, I guess. there was the safety, there was the somewhat good salary, not that great, but something that
I call it pseudo safety. Sorry to cut you.
100%, 100%. Like you are like safe, you're good while it lasts, but when it's done, you don't know what's next or how things are going to turn out for you. So while working at a corporation, I took on a second job, working as an assistant for an agency that is a PPC agency in Pennsylvania. So I took it upon myself to be their assistant. They needed someone who's very good with data, with reports, with Excel. So I did a lot of things for them, and in return, they provided me mentorship in PPC. That was how it started through Upwork in 2015. I believe that it wasn't Upwork back then. It was Elance or something like that. It was called differently.
Okay. Yes.
It kind of like developed into Upwork later.
Okay.
So I saw that there is a good opportunity for me to continue developing my PPC skills, and I really liked it. The reason why I liked it is because you are experimenting with live data. You're doing something, and then in 2 or 3 weeks, it takes effect. It makes some difference. So it's not just retroactively doing something like, here's how we did last month, blah blah blah. Providing reports, and then if someone takes that into consideration and decides to change something, then the change is going to happen within this year, next 3 or 4 months. I didn't like the tempo of that corporate stagnant culture, probably.
Yes, definitely.
So it's definitely a refreshment for me, but at the same time, something I was very comfortable with, like data and information. So that's how it all started.
Okay.
Basically.
So when I put this all together, what comes out is maths. You were good in maths, right? Which don't really correlate with language, with the English language. Normally, the math people have another side of their brain which is completely working. And this is very interesting because I had already a few people where you have math, where we're really good in math, and as well they have languages. Mm-hmm. So this is something which I haven't seen so much, because I'm good at languages. I mean, I'm good at math as well, but you cannot put me in front of vector graphs or anything like that. It's I'm running away. I don't really like it. Or anything with geometry or anything related to this. So that's why I'm amazed by this to see that there is actually people who have both in them, and every one of them goes into finance. And then going as well at the same time in good in PPC, for example, Mm-hmm. So from the beginning, you were raised in Serbia, right?
Yes, and that's where I still live.
Which city, when if I can ask? It's small or?
It's big? Very small. It's very small, but close to Belgrade.
Okay.
So,
okay. Yeah. Sounds good. So you still live there. So because all the jobs all the clients that you had before, they were all you never went there. Yeah. You really worked the whole time from your home, right?
Yes. Basically, work from home, remotely, digital marketing. Back at that time, 2015, we didn't even know what that was yet, or how it's going to work, or the system was developing as we were developing our skills as well. So there was a pretty good momentum for me there to establish a very good reputation on Upwork, because if there are a lot of people who don't know what they're doing yet, and a lot of clients who don't know what they're doing yet, there is a good momentum to establish to provide good quality work, and they will appreciate it, and they will provide good feedback. So basically, pretty quickly, I became top rated on Upwork, which is a badge they give to some people who are providing good quality work. And then things became much easier for me, getting good jobs, getting good clients, and all of that. But the thing is that I always wanted something bigger than just being an independent consultant, although for that time, it really did the trick for me. But I wanted to outgrow that. simply because when you work for an agency, for example, whether that is through Upwork or directly with clients or something like that, but if you're an independent consultant, but you still work within an agency, they will only give you one portion of work to cover. So
Exactly.
they won't give you client engagement tasks, such as holding meetings, communication with clients, things like these. Even though you're great, they just won't do that. Because some of their clients don't even know they're outsourcing, and things like these really bug me a lot, simply because I knew I could do better. And the only thing to really, really learn this job well was to take on my own clients. So that's when I learned a lot more, expanded the expertise into understanding what doing PPC really is. Like you mentioned, there are some people who know English but don't know math, and vice versa. I'm not that great at math analysis, and being good with numbers and data doesn't really mean that you're that great at math. Simply, analysis, in my experience, 5 years experience now, is being able to understand what kind of 20% brings the 80% of income, of output. That's the Pareto's principle, for example, where you will see on an example of a PPC account, there will be 20% of keywords bringing you 80% of revenue. And that's where you need to focus on. So when someone asks me what a business analysis is, I would always say knowing where to put your focus in the right place, right? So things like when a client asks me if we can scale their account, I would not even look at their campaigns. I would ask them, okay, well, how good are you with inventory? Can we do that logistically? Knowing the preconditions and what it takes to really deliver good quality work is what PPC bottom line is all about. And that comes down to good communication with your clients, and delivering good quality work often depends on setting their expectations realistically.
Okay. For me, the thing as well with because when we come to speak to agencies or about individuals, this misconception, what I don't like is, for example, an agency who are hiring punctual. That means they're hiring people when they have work. Instead of having a strong team. Because I see you have a strong team which are always there. They work with you. And they know how you work, and they know what they need to do, and they know your clients. And this is really something I really like, because there's other companies out there, for example, the big translation companies, or they hire people, they bring them in just for a job, and obviously they have no clue how the clients tick. So I prefer to keep it smaller but stable, but having the manpower always there, and having people you can trust. Because what happens if somebody messes up, and then he runs under your company name? That's it for you. It's not really good. And I think you can put this on many business structures, and especially PPC, because PPC is something special. I mean, I like PPC, but it's not my passion. I can navigate, I can give you some analysis, but it's not I'm not sitting there and tell you, listen, it's not my passion. It's amazing to having the PPC side without a software, because manually obviously is different than having a software, but manually is as well very the accuracy and the manpower behind it. You can go super into detail. You can test everything. And now with the new platform, what Amazon has, it's definitely something which has evolved from the beginning when we were beginning in back in 2012, 2013. There is nothing to compare. So yeah,
I know.
It's something we're really looking forward to, and I really want to see where this will be going, where they will take it, where Amazon is going to take it. So it's a race, it's a race for everyone, and to keep updated as well. It's an amazing. I mean, when you look at the whole picture, of Amazon, it's a race, and it's amazing to always be updated, and yeah, with people like you, it's just getting easier, definitely.
Yes, when it comes to this manual versus software approach, we've discovered as an agency working with multiple uh, levels and sizes of businesses, uh, bigger businesses such as seven-figure sellers usually prefer the manual approach because they already have established procedures, how they do product launches through PPC, how they control their ACOS, what are the threshold for each product, and things like these. They have a bunch of spreadsheets that someone needs to monitor and act accordingly if the data shows differently. So definitely for bigger businesses, I would recommend this manual approach. It's not manual in terms of doing things cell by cell in Excel, and then uploading it manually, changing bids manually, things like these. There are filters and there are sorts and there are different functionalities. There are bulk files, things that speed up this process. But still, keeping your eye on every detail is super important with businesses where one mistake can cost $10,000 in either in lost
Definitely.
sales, either in ad spend that was out of control, and things like these. You need someone very focused and responsible working on it. So that's the reason why we take this approach where uh, we're a business. So uh, each of our employees has their own clients. I don't have my own clients. They have. It's your client. It's your responsibility. Take it. Take the responsibility and work on it. So that's kind of like the approach we take, and clients are loving it so far. So yeah, and when it comes to PPC, like in my experience, like you mentioned, it's not one of your passions. With me, it used to be a passion like 2 or 3 years ago. But now more and more I see PPC accounts, and when we analyze them, do an audit for a prospective client, the more you realize that you don't have a magic wand to change something with a changed campaign structure if there's a lack of inventory, or if there's a lack of cooperation with the client, or they're unwilling to spend the money.
Definitely.
So basically, rather than doing just PPC, we focus on improving their business in total. There are other things that also affect PPC. You probably know things like product listing optimization and conversion rate optimization. Maybe the offer is bad. Maybe their price is too expensive. Maybe their product is just ugly and people won't buy it. And how do you communicate that to the client that different choice of keywords is not going to give them a different output? So these are just some of the examples from our practice everyday life.
Yeah, it's the whole picture on it, and this is
Yeah.
what makes entrepreneurship, because as you when I see you, you are very focused, you are passionate about what you do. It's the whole thing around, so PPC, especially PPC, needs somebody who is really into it and can analyze something and can give feedback to clients, and can, as well as you said, because it's not just because you know how to run PPC, the account will magically blow up. And this is in all businesses, it's like that. It's not one fact. When you change something, it will help the business to grow. It's the whole picture. And as you said, customers need to be aware of that. Customers need to listen as well, because they come most of the time with a bit closed mind and going, okay, I want this and that's it. But if you don't look at the whole picture, your business cannot grow. And there is different categories of entrepreneurs who understand that, and they will definitely go for listen to you, come back, try maybe things on their own. And this is for me what it's all about, to try, obviously, to know what you're doing, but not to try and just to try. You need, obviously you have a plan, but you cannot just assume or throw work at somebody, like, here's the whole project and do it. No, you need to understand. They need to tell you what to do, how to, not what to do. Sorry, what kind of things, what kind of facts are in there. Who's their client? They need to know their whole audience. They need to know all these things. You're not the researcher. They have their own brand. They know what to do. So if they don't come to you with all that stuff, then I talking global now. Then it's useless for them to then even they should be even turned down. For this is my opinion, because then you cannot really help if
Yeah,
they.
that's how we do it.
Yeah,
That's exactly how we do it. Like if we see that we can't make a proper contribution compared to the money that we would charge, we just turn down the offer and give them a realistic perspective what the obstacles are. Simply because it's either going to end now or in 2 months with their dissatisfaction, and we definitely don't want that.
This is as well counterproductive for the business, and as well for
Yes.
them. And this then we go again. Then they can as well go. For me, it's always better to get to an agency, as to individuals. Nothing against Upwork or something, but the problem is when you have a small company which is growing, and always to hire new people who do something for you or who do something for your clients, you end up in a in an unstable environment, which is not really
Yeah.
good. So the best would be really to hire, to keep, and then always to continue like this. It's if not, there will be problems at some point, because when everyone grows, one wants the client wants more business. You cannot deliver, and this is as well not very very good. So the planification, the structure, the systems, when everything is in place, everything runs smooth. This is adapted to really to all businesses. So, and
Yeah.
this is actually what makes an entrepreneur, and what makes me want to know every day more, about all of this, because there is not one day where I really don't learn. If I don't learn, then there is something wrong during the day. So
Yeah.
that's why it's amazing to have you here, because then there is another aspect of PPC, what I can learn. There's as well, like I said, the manual, because software and manual is different. This is as well another approach, a more personal approach. Yeah, it's great, really great having you here, Jelena. And there is a few questions which I wanted to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the COVID times, have you really felt it in your business? I mean, in general, obviously we're all grounded, kind of,
Yeah.
but I mean, like in your business, is there at the beginning, were there any drops, or didn't you feel any of this?
Well, luckily we had a pretty big diversity of clients involved. So there were three types of accounts, like how they reacted to the pandemic and the lockdowns, the global lockdowns. First of all, first type of accounts were the ones who were in these crazy essentials category that everyone suddenly was looking
Yeah.
for, like sanitizers, supplements, hygiene, toilet paper,
Yeah. Great.
things
Oh,
like
nice.
these. So expendables, things like these, like
Yeah.
wet wipes. You wouldn't, some things that you didn't expect were going to increase in demand, like toys, where people were grounded with their kids in their houses and they just needed some way to distract them while they could do their work at home.
Sure. Sure.
So these types of accounts, they really suffered because of lack of inventory. They weren't ready for this huge surge in increase in demand, and they weren't able to respond to it unless they were able to switch to FBM. So if you had some kind of additional inventory in your with your logistics partner who was able to deliver that within 2 days and quickly enter that into Amazon FBA, then you were able to preserve your ranking, your product's ranking. for that time being. They changed really quickly and crazy. It was crazy. And there was this second layer of accounts that did really, really well. They didn't suffer from lack of inventory, but they did have an increase in demand, like standing desks, or mouses, keyboards, things that will help you work from home, gym equipment, home gym equipment, people who wanted to continue with their healthy lifestyle while doing it at home, and also things like accessories for homeschooling, and things like these that you really wouldn't expect they're going to increase in demand, but not so much. Like, also, a lot of people were looking for bread makers, which is the machine that makes the bread. I don't know how it's called, bread makers.
That's yeah.
So things like these, where there was like 30% increase in demand, and it was really great for them because they could replenish it. And also things like home decor really increased, but in a very sustainable rate. So these guys really did well during the pandemic. And there was this third side of accounts that sold luxury items, travel items, and things like these that no one really needed during a pandemic outbreak. That really had a drop in sales,
Okay.
increased sales that were long-term storage fees on Amazon, and that was really bad. That was just that was the portion of clients we lost simply because it wouldn't make any sense. We didn't have any PPC to manage for them because they had no sales overnight. It was just sad.
Okay. Would be your message for some of these people from the third category, and as well for the ones who wants to start a business in this COVID times right now? I mean, what would you suggest to them?
I would suggest them to not start without a plan, without a long-term plan, and a lot of inventory. And also, a lot of people still see Amazon as an opportunity to get started with $500 and one product that's a winning product, only if you make a good product choice and everything else. But instead of that, Amazon has become a pretty big machine that you can only enter if you have a long-term plan. Many, like for example, we have some clients that are in competitive categories, and for them, a cost of 120% is a good deal because they make all their sales organically from recurring sales or recurring organic sales. So if you can find a business model that works for you in the long run, and you want to make a long-term commitment to wait for it, then it still works. But if you're looking for a quick buck, then it's better not to do it. Or maybe opt in for retail arbitrage, where you buy something cheap, sell it for more expensive on Amazon, but don't really put pressure on getting that listing organically ranked or putting a lot of inventory in it. It's low risk and low income, but at the same time, a good side hustle. You can still make money like that on Amazon.
Okay.
So there are two ways that I would recommend.
Okay, that sounds really good. Let's talk motivation. For example, for you personally, what does motivate you? What gets you up in the morning?
Freedom. One word, freedom to design my lifestyle exactly how I want it, and also exactly for my kids how I want it. That's simply as simple as it gets. And unfortunately, in order to have freedom, you need a lot of money to get out of the rat race. Yes. Nowadays, getting corporate job and getting out of it and having your own property, or just being free, being I don't know who said that, and pardon my language, but there's a saying that every man needs a million, which is like, where you can have your money and just be free. Like, that's okay. The whole point. So for me, it was always this kind of free lifestyle, which is probably why I opted in for being a freelancer at the beginning, instead of having the safety of corporate job and loans and mortgages and things like these.
Okay.
5 years later, we own a vineyard, we have a property, we live in a very healthy environment where our kids spend time with us. They don't go to the kindergarten. That's by choice.
That's
That's
really
how we
good. That's
have
good.
this. That's by design, basically. We worked hard for it and sacrificed a lot for it, but I wouldn't have it any other way. And that's the most rewarding thing for me that can come out of entrepreneurship. So if you like to be free, then you need to commit for a couple of years, of course,
Sure.
but later on it will become easier, and then you have more and more options to be creative and further designing your lifestyle. For some
Okay.
people, it's going to be traveling a lot and seeing the world, showing the world to their kids, etc. For some people, it's going to be owning a vineyard. Whatever that is, go for it. I
What makes
see
you happy? Exactly.
you're not going to regret.
For sure. For when you began, I mean, when you were thinking about being an entrepreneur, because first you went into independency, what was there a transition period for you, or did you directly switch? I mean, for some people, for me, was, for example, working 8 hours after my, or 6 hours after my normal corporate job at home, and continuing afterwards. What was it for you, for example? I mean, it went on for 6 or 8 months, and then I made the final switch when the balance was equal with what I was winning, what I was making per month, for example.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It was very similar. My experience
Okay.
was very similar. Corporate job, 8 hours a day, plus freelance job, 4 hours a day. I
Okay.
worked a lot for 8 months. I worked a lot. And then when I was seeing I was going crazy and I had to make a choice, I opted in for something that felt just like it had a future, and it did.
Okay.
I made a good choice. Of course, there was a strong support system behind that, coming from my family, in
Okay.
order for me to actually make that switch. And then pretty quickly things have developed for me, because I had so much more free time in a day, and I had already the working habit. So I just replaced that corporate job with more PPC, and things quickly developed from there. But it took me some courage to transcend that into an agency type of service, an agency
Sure.
business. It's a whole different ballgame. It's very easy when you work alone, and all you need to do is organize your working days, working hours, from teaching someone how to do that same thing with same level of quality, and organize themselves, and understand what their weaknesses and strengths are, and working on them together with them, um, and building a team, repeating that process over and
Yes.
over again every time when you introduce someone new into the agency. So it's a whole different game now.
There's all the systems which have to be in place. Like I said, all the people which have to be always trained. They should not be replaced all the time. The
Yeah,
whole wheel needs to be really. And once this is done, then you can really say yes. That's when this is 100% done. That's the first good step. What I've accomplished, really. And it's true. It's a big step from being independent and then going to run an agency. I can definitely confirm that. Really.
yeah.
And it's as well motivating. This is it's motivating to see how this evolves, and that's why I always say it's you need to love the journey. It's I don't like the end, I like the ride, it's
There's no end.
exactly, it should never end, that would be the best, so you always have a goal for tomorrow, you can always continue, because
Yeah.
when you reach it, then you need again to refocus something else, but like this you can really stay focused all the time. That's definitely. Can people contact you if they are interested in your services, Jelena?
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to say that. If anyone is interested in getting a consultation from one of our account managers,
Oh, we're here.
they can go to amazoniappc.com, and there is a contact form that they can use. It's always monitored by someone, so we
Okay.
provide fast responses. That's the best way.
That sounds good. So from there, you are as well. I know you're on LinkedIn. You're
But we do a
pretty.
lot of blogging. We do a lot of
Yes.
guest appearances on podcasts and things like these, where you can actually chat about it and deliver the message that you want. So these are the
Definitely.
formats we use.
That sounds really good. Thank you so much for taking the time speaking with me today. And
Thank you
yeah,
for having me.
hopefully we can continue a talk soon, maybe at some point in person when we are able to travel as
Yeah,
you do.
that would be nice. That would be really nice.
Thank you so much, Jelena.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.